All right, traders. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome on back here this Thursday, almost the end of the month, as we had just said before. January 29th, of course, still is the date. Great to have all of us though back here live inside our trading room. Dave, Kathleen, Jerry, Grant, Leda, all of us just rejoining us here. I see you, Day, Glenn, Michael, Larry, a few more of us just here this afternoon. Perfect. And if you're joining us on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, out there on the internet streets, as I like to say, just down below, lower left, at Cyber Trading You. Just be a friend, tell a friend. Look, hit the follow and subscribe buttons right there. I'm slowing that banner on the bottom, actually, right out the gate there. I'm gonna make it nice and slow for us. Down on the bottom, if you wanted to join us directly inside our trading room, go right down there. But we'll mention that at the end. But at least there, the feed trade just before. Listen, I thought there was a case for this to try and make a squeeze back up and break new highs. Maybe it still could do that, but I only said that just a moment ago here. I have my chart all marked up here, and that's coming off of a coaching session, a private one-on-one with one of our students just earlier today. So, at least I didn't really have much interest in this trade afterwards. It didn't break higher at this point, and it was kind of just good timing. It was kind of good timing in terms of, well, if it could break back above this, maybe there is a case to see it try and break a new HOD, move up to $5. And maybe it could still do it, but I ended up taking a quarter of my position out pretty much right at the time it popped up towards 450. And then the remaining 3/4, I got stopped out on at my entry price right around 419. Listen, I'm not going to juggle everything here as I'm doing this meeting. I want to build us up a nice watch list. All of us here, Iqbal, Doug, Drea, Vicky, Deb, and all of us here just otherwise. So maybe this does hold support. Maybe it does go back up. I'm going to put it on our list here to begin. If it pops during this meeting, well, hopefully it doesn't pop too much. But, there's other fishies out there in the ocean for any of us to reel in, let alone myself. So I'll even go over the Zoom trade because that was also one that we had discussed more so inside our live trading room. That's just kind of a swing thought, if anything. But, more or less what we'll just do, though, is go right from top to bottom. And in terms of that, the market did go from bottom. Now it's trying to go back up to top. So in terms of the SPY, we ended up seeing a crash below the support I was expecting it to see hold above. Well, right now we're doing just that now. Right in the morning session, the day is not over at 10:30 or 11 o'clock. There's a case to see an eventual reversal, and this still has a lot of work to do because it's not just today, it's not just tomorrow, which would be the end of the week, which would also be the end of January, the end of the January calendar altogether, pretty much, right? So tomorrow is going to be very important. But nonetheless, we just got to see this continue to hold higher lows right off this past resistance and then have this squeeze back up towards the 700 plus. If we don't get that in the coming days, whatever, week, hey, then I'm not bearish, but I'm definitely a little bit less bullish. But for right now, things are still looking good. Let's close out today pretty strong. We're still holding over support here. Bitcoin, a little bit of a different story. Bitcoin, a lot different of a story, if anything. So probably by the end of this week, if we're not at least back above this thing here, this like 84 and change, I posted a couple of different charts inside our live trading room earlier today. More or less, just this is in rough shape. I've definitely not been bullish on Bitcoin at all over the last several weeks and months. I thought maybe at best you can get a move back up to 101, 103,000, and then the slam down. We only got up to 97 or 98 maybe. And that was it. So you don't want to hold your breath too long waiting for that move. And then obviously we're right back down towards a huge support area, on the chart, let alone from the volume. So yeah, Bitcoin's definitely not doing good. If it keeps kind of below this 84 area, I could see the move down to 80. And then if it breaks that, then we're talking 68, 69s pretty quick. All right. I know some people don't like to hear that so much. You got to be realistic. You got to focus on the charts and the volume too. So, at least here, it's got a slingshot back over that 84.3-ish if this even wants to hang on. This is on life support. All right. Now with that, let's just go right from top to bottom. Now we'll build up our list here. We'll just kind of rip through across the gainers and losers side. I didn't know if this was a glitch. I didn't know if this was a typo on TradeStation, up 1,210%, and I guess counting. Maybe it was up even more than that just before. But Yeah, this thing is like, I don't know. It moved up to 25 here or $30. Then it got halted. It reopened up at 50. And then it got halted again. And then it reopened up at 105. It's not even tradable, right? And you know what goes up is going to come back down. So if you're looking at this, like, I got to jump in here, then you should have been head over heels over it at 20 or head over heels over it at 12. So I don't know what's going on with this thing, Tech Create. If anything, this is more of a distraction than anything to the other stocks. Maybe this does hold support here, the feed trade, and maybe it does go back up. So we still have it on our list for a reason. I just jumped ship on it at least a little while ago. CATX. Now, Rich had called this out earlier today. Let me see if any of us did pretty nicely on this trade before. I know Dave was looking at it a little while ago. Did anyone jump in and out of the CATX earlier today? It was more of like the early afternoon session. I had no skin in the game here. Ended up making a nice run up at the time. Rich called out resistance at $5, blasted above that pretty nicely. Could have even gotten in from there. Dave, you got some? Cool, nice. So, for the time being now, it kind of looks over with, right? Kind of lower highs, dumping back down here. So it's just a nice trade from before. I think that we're moving on to other stocks now. LNKS, this thing's actually a lot closer to the highs for the time being. I've never really heard of this trade before. So with it being so cheap, you'd want it to be a lot more filled in order book wise. I could see this pulling back down pretty quickly. I could see this wicking back down towards like 90, 98 cents. Not fully sold on it. That's going to be the theme for this afternoon. You're going to get a lot of stocks looking like, these things here. Crazy up, crazy down. I'm not here to play the slot machine. So you got to make sure that we're focused on good liquidity, but you also got to at least try and focus on a stock near the highs. The feed trade at least is kind of there. We'll see if there's anything else that looks at least decent enough. Bitcoin dropping off, so MSTR is dropping off. Well, that means MSTZ is going up. So this going up, another crypto inverse BMNZ. This is probably a really good short today. Oh, I really wish I could have gotten in on this. This is a very hindsight comment now after the fact, but I am not a fan of BMNR. I am not a fan of their CEO. This guy was talking about Bitcoin at 250,000 to the end 2025. He was talking about Ethereum crypto at 10,000. Not to sound mean, guy is like a loser. I'm sorry. He's kind of a loser. He's trying to pump his bags and no one was biting. So look at where he's at now. He's on probably a huge loss. And not just that, but otherwise he looks stupid. So, for anyone holding their breath, waiting for Bitcoin to try and make that move up, focus on the graph, focus on higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. Where's the higher high? Now, with that, we were already testing big support here. So the more it keeps nipping and testing this, it's going to smash under it. It's going to rightfully so flip it into a resistance. And then look at what happened here today. So that's kind of where I say to myself and say to you, I'm like, ooh, I really wish I shorted this thing today. Because it's one that we did have our eyes on. The MSTR is down a lot right now also. So, if you want, I'll probably just kind of put MSTR, MSTZ. The BMNR trade, I don't mind kind of putting on the main list for right now. The inverse to it, we should have a better spread. Maybe it does have an all right spread. All right, as long as it doesn't open up too much, I'll hit it. So if you can't short, you got the inverse. Remember, no, not everything's dropping at least. So, Meta, the high of the day, so obviously very expensive. You got the METU, probably about like 6 times cheaper, I'd say. But otherwise, Meta, METU, add those. You don't want to build up too big of a list, but a lot of trades are falling off a cliff right now. Rigetti seems to be getting clobbered. That's a great short. IO and Q, it's like down. That's a good short there. I'm certain from the open. QBTS, this is a little bit closer to the low of the day right now compared to the IO and Q. I like the Rigetti though. This thing is weak. This thing is like a great short to work with right now. So yeah, we got it here. RGTI, the inverse, RGTZ. So if you can't short Rigetti, then you at least got this RGTZ going on. All right, we're not going to add all of those ETFs, by the way. So I think that probably wraps it up, at least across the gainer side, in terms of stocks that we're familiar with that have those ETFs, like more larger caps. There might be small caps that make a move. GMPX, I guess, made a recovery, had a giant drop earlier. Not really a fan of that. Cruise lines did great today. RCL's at the high right now, of course, you can see. But CCL's been the one that's more within our price range. So I'll just add Carnival. That looks really good. So we got a few good trades going up, a few good trades going down. Tesla dropping, I think, here. So this is the inverse to Tesla. I mean, we don't need to put Tesla on our main list at this point. We already have a pretty decent sized list, but it's tradable. It's dropping back down pretty nicely here. And again, you got the TSLL as a short, TSL or TSDD. Ooh, I like this. TSDD. All right. We'll go with it. We'll go with it. I'm sold. I'll go Tesla TSDD. It's cheap. All right. Now, I mean it. There's not much else that looks that great. Jamia had a pop earlier, but that's all that was. We'll hop over to the loser side here. I was messing around earlier with that. All right, what do we got? So Microsoft. Jesus, we got a big list here. We got a big list. Holy smokes. I mean, if the markets pull back further, then Microsoft, obviously the weakest trade, across the Mag 7, larger caps, down off bad earnings. What else? We already got the BMNR. We got the Rigetti. I got out of RR the last half of my position on that. That was in the mid-morning or mid to late morning. I wish I got out earlier. I wish I got out yesterday on it, but still made some small profit on the last half. But check this out. There was news that came out midday on this trade. The whole thing with them popping yesterday, we killed it on this trade for the most part. They came out with the news of a partnership with Microsoft, right? Now you figure, all right, well, they're down because of Microsoft. Well, not because of their earnings. It actually came out that like Microsoft is calling like BS on the report of the partnership. So they're like, yeah, we don't really have a partnership with these guys. Well, that's what led to this spike down here, right at 12 o'clock noon. That's when that news came out. So I'm happy I avoided that, but we're moving on to other trades now at this point. RR was such a fun trade yesterday. Did us really nice, but obviously didn't continue. CRML is at the low of the day, kind of. That actually doesn't look half bad as a short. Rare earths, precious metal stocks. All right, for the time being, I'll kind of hold off on those. Maybe the CRML is not so bad. But if there's anything else looking good, Michael, Dave, Uma, all of us here in chat, let me know right now, just briefly. I'll take a look. From Uma, is there a possibility feed stock is heavily shorted and that might be the reason it's just in the middle of low? Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I'm not overtly confident in feed like making this perfect run up. Why? Well, it made a perfect run up yesterday morning, right? And then it made this unexpected breakout as soon as the market opened up today. So every roller coaster has a top, right? But it's just to say, though, you know what? This thing is just not dropping. It's not making lower lows. Even when it puked earlier today in the mid-afternoon, I wasn't watching it at that point. I wasn't calling it out, really. I just had no interest. Really, after the coaching session with my student here, I kind of just turned back over to it. It was such fortunate timing. Like, wow, this thing actually survived. This thing's still around. I thought this thing would have tanked back down at 250 by now. $3. Fact it didn't. It's like, all right, well, maybe it does try and make that push. So it kind of keeps you roped in a little bit, right? I'm admitting, of course, there's a bunch of stocks that could tease us, lure us in if it's still kind of holding at this time of the day. But don't get me wrong, this thing is very heavily traded. It's likely very exhausted. And if it's not going to make that big squeeze up, last thing that you want to do with a stock like this, and I know Uma knows this, he's been with us for a little while, but any of our students, at least otherwise, or new students there, you never want to turn a day trade like this into a swing trade. Could you have made money swing trading this stock from yesterday? Yeah. And one of our students actually did. One of our students, Jim. But you're playing a dangerous game now with this stock up over 500-600% from when we first called it out yesterday in pre-market, right? But otherwise, yeah, we're going to put it on our list for right now. If it's not going to hold over this, though, then we're going to scrap it. Getting close. Is it going to do a live tanking in front of us here? A live tanking for all of us on YouTube right now, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, etc., social media. Hey, typically we show this directly inside our live trading room. Join us directly there. Go right down to the link scrolling on the bottom below in blue. A little alliteration there to finish up. But ctu.co/trial is the link to join Grant, Michael, Uday, Leda, Uma, all of our students just pretty much there. At the least, subscribe right to our YouTube channel, just lower left at Cyber Trading U. But hey, live tanking, are we going to see this crash and break the support right now? I'd love to. I'd really love to, because, hey, if this just tanks at this stage, then we'll take it off our list, right? If it just kind of lingers around here, there might just be other trades that are more decisively going up, and it's kind of just wasting our time. So be a little careful on this trade right now, folks. We'll keep it on our main list for the time being. But I'll tell you, we got a pretty decent list altogether here. So as always, going to post this right now. Clean that up for everyone here in just a bit. I just posted the list inside our trading room, that is. And again, if you're on social, I look forward to seeing you directly inside our trading room in due time. If not today, if not tomorrow, then perhaps next week. But otherwise, Uma, Dave, Leda, Jerry, all of us there live right now. Hey, we'll be back live on the mic taking you into the close. At least Rich will be. I'll be on a coaching call from 3 to 3:30 as always. But, if there's anything that I jump into as a day trade, I'll definitely let you know. And we'll go from there, folks. All right. Talk to you soon. Take care.